Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast, one man's anonymous and live account of if he should get a divorce or stay married. He's been cheated on and he's cheated, protecting the innocent with changed voice patterns, the omission of names, ages and genders. His authentic journey and account of the daily events of his marriage are helping him sort out his feelings and not get lost in the ups or the downs. New episodes are released daily. Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
Hello. Divorce Diaries recording on the 17th of January 2022. I spent a lot of time a couple days ago crying with my daughter. And my daughter was, she's just caught in the middle of what I'm learning is now her manipulative mother and her older sibling. Yeah, I am saying that they're manipulative, yes, but that's not why she's crying. She was crying because she has actually, I didn't know that she's been getting bullied as much as she has been by her sibling. And her sibling is very upset at me for things that she's been told happened. And I get that. It's a very tough thing to watch my youngest go through this because there's not a lot of protection given from one kid to the other by my soon-to-be ex-wife. She's not, and she never has been, a disciplinarian, which is okay, except when you're the only adult that is there to discipline children. And if one child isn't cleaning up their room, not disciplining them, it just kind of creates this atmosphere of permissiveness for one child or preference over another, but you can't really quantify it. It's not, you can't really quantify those things. But with how things are now, my oldest child has a lot of things to say negative to my younger. And when we all were under the same roof, I would typically just kind of, when I'd hear something that I felt was off color, said from one child to the other, I would just pop my head around the corner or something. I'm like, hey, don't talk to your brother like that. Don't talk to your sister like that. Apologize. Okay. Oh, you don't want to or whatever. Okay, go to your room. We don't talk to each other like that. That's your sibling. You know, things like that. That was me. That's my modus operandi. But now that two of my children are living with my wife only, soon-to-be ex-wife, feels so much better saying that, soon-to-be ex-wife. It's just like, yeah, no, let's call it what it is. I remember saying, hey, you know what, this is my wife. I was proud to introduce someone with that title that was attached to me. Now, understanding exactly who she is, no, this is my soon-to-be ex-wife. We are married because this has not legally been changed yet, and she is my soon-to-be ex-wife. That will be a good day for all of us, her included. Will be a good day. But knowing that my older child is able to say and do things to a child that's younger that doesn't have the ability to, kind of protect themselves, and they need an older sibling or older parent to sort of step in on their behalf and sort of help them contend with their older sibling. That's something that she needs help with. And to know that the same things are now happening that have always happened with me, but now I'm not in the house, it's a very difficult situation to watch and go through and see, especially with me not being there. It's only when I link up with my youngest and the poor thing is just pouring her eyes out, and she's crying and she's sad, and she's like, this is how I'm treated every day. This is how I feel anyway. I'm treated every day. And as I'm treated this way, this is the help that I'm getting or not getting, or this is how I feel alone and I'm so sad dad, and it's tough because my kids don't have to have this relationship dynamic with each other. They don't have to, but it's allowed to exist. This relationship dynamic that they have, it's allowed to exist, and that is troubling. It's troublesome. It's rough, and my daughter she's just sad. She just cries a lot, and she really does want to come and live with me, but she also doesn't want to make the wrong decision. She doesn't want to make anyone upset. It's also uncharted territory. She's never really lived with just her dad. She's never done that. But she also knows her entire life she has lived with her dad. And there's that feeling with mothers. Mothers are they're the nurturers. They're nicer, softer, gentler. Dads are a little bit tougher. They're rough. They're logical and pragmatic, and fathers are oftentimes disagreeable and aggressive. It's tough going into a situation saying that you're going to just live with your dad, because it's like, God, fuck. It just sounds like work. I remember being in that place when I was her age, and my parents were split up, and I remember being in that place when my parents split up, and it's just like, whoa. Being with mom, I'm gonna fucking live with mom. It's easy street. I'm not gonna live with dad, telling me what to do, doing my chores and all this other stuff. There's no hope of physically dominating dad or verbally threatening dad. There's no hope of that shit. But staying with mom, yeah, we can walk all over mom. Mom's a doormat. Mom's soft. Mom's easy. Mom's this. Even if your mom is a mom with a very sharp tongue and she's very quote unquote aggressive and she's pushy and she's mean and she's blah blah blah, she's still a woman. And there's something about that energy, that level. It's like she's gonna fight you with her words. There's no threat of spankings or anything like that. Not with mom. With mom, maybe there's a punishment time out, but there's also butter mom up, and you can kind of get away with things a little bit more. Everybody knows that. That's the general feel of the general mom. But when you're young, like my youngest, and she's got a much larger sibling sort of dominating her, telling her what she can and can't do, yelling at her, and I'm seeing that there's cursing going on between, not between them necessarily. I don't know if my youngest is actually saying things. I wouldn't be surprised if she was, but the older one I'm seeing, I know she's giving her the middle finger and things like that. It's rough, and there's a decent gap between the two of them. So it's tough knowing that my kids are disrespecting each other, hurting each other. But it sucks knowing that they have a parent, their mom is there, and she's letting it happen because she doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. She doesn't want to tell the older child that is maybe or maybe not in the wrong. She doesn't want to tell her to stop, because then if she tells the older child to stop, the older child is going to raise hell. And I think Dr. Kevin Leman talks a lot about the powerful child. When you have a powerful child, we will do one of two things with that child. We will contend with the child often, which that was my typical thing. I usually contended with everyone. One of my flaws, I never really picked my battles, because everything that was put in front of me that was a battle, I just kind of took it and I battled with it. Okay, this is going to be a battle. We're going to battle. But now having a person that makes the alternate choice of not contending with every issue, just making the choice to say, I don't want to fight. You want to eat candy for dinner every night? I'm going to give you candy every evening for dinner. Because if I don't give you candy, you're going to pitch a fit. You're going to yell. You're going to break things, demanding your candy. And then if I don't, if I give it to you, you don't complain, scream, and throw and break things. If I don't give it to you, you will, and then I'll end up giving it to you anyway. So now you've gotten your candy, and you've broken things and screamed, and I've been scared as a parent or something. I just want to make you happy, so just know the candy's on the table. Don't have a fit. And you just go into this protection mode as a parent to protect yourself, or to protect the peace that you would like to achieve, and making your kid feel better or not offend them or something like that. And right now, that's and that always has been the type of parent that my soon-to-be ex-wife is. But the only casualty of that war, granted, my older child is not made well by being enabled like this. I mean, that's not going to be good for her in the long run. It'll be very terrible for her. And it is what it is. I'm not there. I'm not there to provide that discipline that she needs. And it's not that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it in the sense that I've made peace with it. I've made peace with the fact that I'm not there to raise my children now, and the children that they are turning into and becoming is the children that are raised, and I say that loosely, by my soon-to-be ex-wife. There's no discipline, so how are they going to learn boundaries? I've already talked a lot about the undermining over the years with my wife and my oldest. Hey, every time I set down a standard, this is what you need to do. If she would undermine me and go behind my back and tell him that he could do other things, then it would result in him knowing all the time, whatever dad says, I don't have to do it. There's no other line of defense. My mom's not going to make me. Dad says do it. But when mom says something and I don't want to do it, dad comes behind mom and says, wait, hey, didn't your mother just tell you to clean your room? What's wrong with you? Clean your room. Your mom told you to do it. Listen to your mom, respect your mom. I didn't look at it like, oh, they're only listening and respecting me because I'm yelling at them. But my wife was getting her wishes reinforced and supported by me, her husband. But I am not getting my wishes reinforced and supported by her. And now with the two kids and their dynamic, one of my kids wants to absolutely eviscerate the other one with her words, and the other one is just too small, young, and defenseless to stop it. And she's fearful about moving in with dad. She always tends to go back and say, yeah, I want to live with you, dad, but I mean, they talked me out of it and they got me into another therapy session and I don't know what to do, and I just don't want to make this decision. This is the most stressful time of my life. This is so stressful for me. I hate this. And I'm like, Jesus. So the only thing that I can do and have done is I have decided to never, ever talk to my youngest child about moving with me again, because she is being put in the middle. She's being used as a pawn by everyone that she lives with. Now, me having conversations with her about moving makes her very uncomfortable, not because of me, not because she doesn't want to talk to me about it, but because she's such an honest, sweet child, and she still is under the impression, which we all should be, that the only two people that you should be able to trust 110% are your parents. But if you don't know that your mom is manipulating you or your dad is using you as a pawn or whatever's happening, all you know is those are the two people that pretty much brought you in the world, have taken care of you. Who else do you trust? They breastfed you. They gave you meals. They took you to school. They're who you called when there was a boogeyman under your bed. It doesn't matter. Parents are supposed to be totally 100% trusted by their children. And we're supposed to take on that mantle, and we're supposed to try our best to not abuse their trust. Yes, we will. We will fall short of it, and we will abuse their trust, but we need to try our best not to. And when we do, we need to very quickly try our best to rectify it, or say like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I did that. I did lie. And we're supposed to somehow show them that, yes, I broke your trust, and I'm sorry for breaking your trust. Here's some honesty for you. That's what we're supposed to do as parents. We're supposed to try to do our level best. And with my daughter not being able to trust her mom, but not knowing that she can't, it's definitely tormenting her. And I look at the older ones. The older ones have believed their mom's version of a story, because believing that story and it makes it easy to put dad into a categorization labeled monster, horrible, despicable. If you can just believe mom's story, that takes you there. Now the youngest, the thing with her, she's just like, dad's not despicable because he's done these things and he did those things, so he's the sum of his parts. And that's what's pissing everyone off. They're like, can you just please join us in the hatred for this man? Can you just join us? And she's like, I can't just join you. I mean, he's my dad and I love him. And he does these things. And you guys were there when he did all those other things too. But no, we as a unit have collectively decided to exile him and hate him. That's what we now want. This is how we are. Be with us, be like us. And I'm like, I don't need to continue to try to tell you that, hey, your mom kind of did this. I'm sorry that happened. Your sister did that happened. I don't even live with them. And they're still so angry at me. Everything that's happening in their lives, they're just so angry with me. And that's that. But my daughter doesn't have to be collateral damage because narcissistic, dark people want to use her as a pawn. What the fuck kind of father would I be if I was just okay with her staying with them? I'm no fucking saint. In fact, I'm a goddamn sinner. But the fact that she's living with people that are like, nope, I don't sin. I didn't do anything wrong about it. How I'm moving through the world? Nope. There's nothing wrong about that. Nope. Knowing that she's in a home with people that think that, believe that, and move in that way, it's absolutely terrible. So, I'm not necessarily saying I want some Operation Rescue my daughter. But what I will say is that I love her to death. Like I do all of my children, and I do want them protected from any and all things bad.
Wow, that was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.